No matter if points are gained or points are lost, there will be much to discuss. For analysis regarding tonight's Winnipeg Jets game, here are Dave Manouk, Ezra Ginsburg, and your host, Drew Mandel. The Illegal Curve post-game show, presented by Play Now, the official sports betting partner of the Winnipeg Jets, starts now.
After a few days spent in the city of brotherly love, the Winnipeg Jets treated the Philadelphia Flyers like a younger sibling, toying with them for a little while before ultimately beating them down in a 5-2 victory. The Jets sweep the road trip. Wasn't a long one, but they take both games on the east coast of the United States tonight to beating the Philadelphia Flyers. Good evening, Winnipeg. Good evening, Manitoba. For all those joining us live this evening on our YouTube channel and all of our social media platforms, we say good evening, universe, and welcome to the Illegal Curve post-game show. All together again. It's been a little while since we've all been back in one studio. Dave Manouk in the top right, Ezzy Ginsburg in the bottom middle. I'm your host, Drew Mandel, here to discuss the Winnipeg Jets 5-2 victory over the Philadelphia Flyers. Gentlemen, good to see you both on this Thursday night. A game where I thought the Jets were the men in the game. The Philadelphia Flyers were reminded just how far they have to go before being at the level of a Winnipeg Jets hockey club that was workmanlike in their effort tonight.
What's up, boys? Yeah, first of all, before we get into the game, it's great to be back. It feels like it's been like 3 weeks since I've been on the show here, but I guess we can mention the reason why I wasn't on the show was because I burnt my hands on a pot of boiling hot water. Not sure if you guys...
It wasn't, in fact, that he was bitten by a rabid raccoon. That would have been a better story, but no, he had a... Go on, you can keep telling the people.
Well, yeah, I mean, basically, I guess it's about 8 days ago now, 9 days ago, I was I wasn't kicking pasta. I was cooking pasta here at home, at my home in St. James, and wasn't wearing oven mitts, and I burnt my hands pretty badly, so that's why I wasn't on the show. And then obviously was on a bit of a road trip this past weekend, so that prevented me from doing the show. So big shout out to Liz Hood and big shout out to Darren Bombing for filling in on the post-game show, and obviously Dave M holding the fort down here in Winnipeg. But yeah, I'd agree with your summation of the game, Drew. Like, this wasn't a dominant win by the Jets by any stretch of the imagination. And I saw, Drew's tweet that the Jets had the 25% shooting percentage going when Scheifele scored the 4-1 goal. Like, Samuel Urson had a rough night, guys. Like, there's no other way you can say it. He wasn't good tonight. He wasn't the only reason why the Flyers lost. Yeah. But I just thought it was a very efficient game by the Jets. I thought the penalty killing was excellent tonight. And I know Dave M wants to get into that because I think it's something that, we'll probably also touch on the Saturday morning show, because without Adam Lowry, without Dylan Sandberg, two of your best penalty killers, and the Jets have killed off 16 of 17 penalties to start the season. So the penalty kill is a huge part of tonight's win. Obviously, Scheifele continues to play just incredible hockey. I mean, we're not going to obviously put him on Team Canada, guys, but he certainly looks like a guy who wants to be on Team Canada the way he's playing. I just thought it was very workmanlike, a very solid road win. The Flyers have a lot of young talent, with guys like Matvei Michkov and Jet Luchenko and Bobby Brink, and it goes on and on. Zegras, they're just not a good team. They're just not there yet. I thought that they really struggled. I thought that the Jets had a lot of pressure on their defense. I thought the Flyers defense had trouble moving the puck out of their zone, and the Jets were opportunistic, right, guys? And they didn't give up. I don't even remember if the Jets gave up an odd man rush tonight, to be honest with you. If they did, it was only one or two. So it was a really solid win all around. And considering all of the injuries and everything like that, Dave, I mean, you're going to take a 3-1 start to the season every day of the week.
Well, especially when you're attempting to match your 15-1-0 start, as someone pointed out on one of our post-game shows last time. They said the Jets were just getting that one loss out of the way to start the season, and then they were going to go on a 15-0 run. So 3 wins in a row, not bad. And look, if you told me, as Ezzy touched on, that the Jets would kill 16 of 17 penalties without Adam Lowry, without Dylan Sandberg, and someone, pushed back on me and said, well, it's really the system. Okay, but with all due respect, those are your two best penalty killers. And we saw what happened to the Jets last year without Dylan Sandberg, and especially on the PK. So I would say that while the system is definitely a factor, the personnel also have a big role. And those guys are two big players when it comes to the penalty kill. But credit number 36, Morgan Barron, as Warren Monroe says, he's on pace for 60 goals, which is true, 61.5 if we're being precise as. But the fact of the matter is that this is a guy who is continuing to step up. And the three of us have been, talking about Morgan Barron and his need to get more of a role on this team and the opportunity that he might have to have that role without Adam Lowry early in the season and maybe a little more responsibility. And he's certainly taking it. For him to have 3 goals, and while I jokingly said he was on pace for 61 earlier, the fact of the matter is his career high is 11. If he gets to, and Kenny, when he was on the show with us on Saturday, Drew said, he's a 10 or 15 goal guy. Well, he may have been underselling what Morgan Barron has the right. And remember, he's doing this in a 4th line role. So pretty impressive from what we're seeing from Morgan Barron. And I just think it's just another example of a guy. And, I saw Jets fans were already laughing at, the cop for Barron, and they got Salamonson, and they got a whole host of other guys as a result of the cop deal. But I think Milic also is part of that. There's one more player I think I'm missing. But the point is that Barron just looks like a guy who's continuing to elevate his role, and looks like he's just going to be ready to take off and take that responsibility. And if you got a guy like that on your 4th line, boys, what are we talking about, right? What do we talk about all year is that your 4th line has to contribute. What is you have to do? You have to get your 3rd line to contribute. After your first couple of games, you're looking at the top line. You're like, well, they're contributing.
Yeah, Scheifele's got 8 points in 4 games.
Well, for sure. But the fact of the matter is you wanted to see those other lines contribute. Well, now they are. And again, it's only 4 games into the season. And these aren't, as we ourselves acknowledged after they played Dallas and LA, we knew that the Jets' schedule would be a little bit easier in terms of teams that were playoff teams last year versus, and still, even though some have improved, they're not necessarily at that next level quite yet. But ultimately, these are the games you have to win. And if you're doing it without Cole Perfetti, without Dylan Sandberg, and without Adam Lowry, it's a pretty big testament to what you're going to be able to do, A, when those guys get back, but B, also for putting yourself into a position to, again, not have to be scrambling when you get them back into the lineup.
Well, one of the things we said from the start, since September in training camp, is that this Jets team is going to be a highly educated. They're going to have a high hockey sense,
just like a legal curve, right, Drew?
Well, I don't know about that, but hopefully smarter than us.
We got some degrees between us, boys.
Yeah, but you also burnt yourself boiling pasta the other day, so you win some, you lose some, as the case may be.
They didn't teach that at the University of Winnipeg.
No, they didn't. Apparently, they didn't teach hot water burn. Throughout those chemistry classes. But I thought you saw it on display today. You just saw, I think, a higher degree of hockey knowledge, hockey sense, high-level IQ hockey being demonstrated by the Winnipeg Jets. I mean, I think you made a good point, Ezzy. Look, this Philadelphia Flyers team has a long way to go. They're still a young team that's learning. They have a new system with Rick Tocchet, who I think will contribute and improve this team. But this is, their 3rd, 4th game of the season. I thought you saw the difference between the two teams. What had a great deal to do with the fact that the Jets were just a smarter hockey team than the Philadelphia Flyers were tonight. Not that the Flyers made grotesque errors, but just that the Jets, as we said, they just know how to win a game like this. They just know how to win this was a low-event hockey game, to put it mildly.
You can say that again, Drew.
Yeah, it was pretty dull. I mean, if you're a Philadelphia Flyers fan and you paid full price for that, you're probably like, well, what the heck did I just pay for? From the Jets fans' perspective, watching at home, it's beautiful. But
I would say, Drew, there weren't that many fans in the building watching that game based on what I saw on TV.
Were they chanting USA at some point?
I thought
the
so.
Game?
I actually thought so, and I was gonna laugh because I was like, I'm pretty sure there's more American players on the Jets than there are on the Flyers. But at one point I did think they were chanting USA.
That's what I heard, and they didn't mention it on the broadcast.
We should ask our good friend Anthony Sanfilippo.
I was texting with Anthony all game. I was like, boy, good luck with your post-game show trying to come up with anything on the losing end. Anthony's a good friend of ours, and he covers the Flyers and has for, probably 20 plus years. So I was texting him and Chris Terrian do a post-game show right now as well. And so we were joking about that. It's going to be a rough go on their broadcast tonight. But if they were chanting USA, and I'm pretty sure they were, it wasn't just the Flyers on the ice who had a low hockey IQ. It was also the fans in attendance who had a low hockey IQ there.
Maybe they were just cheering for Hellebuck. I don't know. Maybe they're just excited to watch him at the Olympics, Dave. I don't know.
That could be it. Maybe that's what it was all about. I mean, and I'll tell you what, they could use a goalie like Hellebuck. Every team could, but you could see the sort of the warts that the Flyers have and the levels that they need to sort of progress through before they can begin to think of themselves as a particularly good hockey team.
Although, if you remember, wasn't Erson the one who killed the Jets last year?
Yes.
Like, he had that unbelievable game. Was it in Philly?
In Winnipeg.
It was in Winnipeg? Yeah. I just remember him having that incredible game, and everybody's like, Samuel Erson, like, what is going on? Where did this guy come from? But
well, how about that line from Dan at the end of the broadcast, Dan Robertson on TSN3, saying that this is Hellebuck's first ever win in Philadelphia?
It is. Yeah.
That's a wild stat, isn't it?
I would agree with that. It's at this point, David, you're just surprised. Sorry, I was just going to say you're surprised before you get in here, Dave. I was just going to say you're surprised to hear that he hasn't won in every building at this point, right? Like, especially Philly, who they've played so many times.
Well, yes, they only play them the once a year, and I'm sure that must mean that means Comrie got the start in Philadelphia last year. Remember, the Jets played the Flyers. I think it was right before the trade deadline, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, they were in New Jersey on the Thursday, and then Philadelphia on the Friday, if I recall correctly.
Something like that.
Or reverse. No, sorry. I think they played in Philadelphia on the Thursday and New Jersey the next night, but then the team, it was something like that.
Right.
You're talking about this during this past season, 24-25?
That's right, 24-25.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was like either they were, I think they played in Philadelphia on the Thursday night, then they went to New Jersey on the Friday.
And the trade deadline was on the Friday, so it must have been Comrie on the Thursday. In any event, look, a complete effort by the Winnipeg Jets in tonight's game, and they did what they need to do. We talked about it at the beginning that the first two games of the season were the biggest challenges in the month of October. You win that game against the LA Kings on Saturday. Dave, you and Liz did a great job on the post-game show, and then you go out east and you have this small 2-game road trip. And they take care of business. So they come home on Saturday now to face the Predators, a division matchup. And you're feeling good about yourself. Yeah, you lost that first game to Dallas. You staged that comeback. You fell a bit short. But the next 3 games have been solid performances. And that's what it was from the Jets tonight. You probably don't love that second period or elements of that second period where Connor Hellebuck has to stand up tall and make some key saves for your team. As you got a little bit scrambly, a little bit too loose in that second period. But you come out in that third period, it's still, a competitive game at that point, given that it's I guess it's 3-1 after 40 minutes. And the Jets just choke out the Philadelphia Flyers. Pardon the visual there. It's a little aggressive, admittedly. But that's what they did. They just sucked the life out of the Philadelphia Flyers in that third period, which is what a good team, a great team does against a weaker opponent, particularly on the road. They just don't give them any time, any space to even think of a comeback.
Exactly. And we've seen the Jets do that so many times over the last, 4 or 5 years where, they might not generate a lot of offense. And in that second period, you talk about low event hockey. That second period, what do the Jets have? 3 shots on net, 4 shots on net? I'd have to check. NHL.com, by the way, is not working right now. And
I told you.
It's kind of freaking me out, boys, because we rely on it so much for the replay. So when we go over
just go to Dave M's Twitter. I've been tweeting it. You're good.
Okay, well, maybe
but I
we'll
said
do
the
that.
same thing to you, Ezzy. I said that I think NHL.com is down, and you said no, it's working, and I'm like, no, I'm pretty sure it's not. But
I'm not freaking out, boys, but I am freaking out a little bit here. But no, we're going to continue on.
We're going to have to use our memory.
No,
yeah, the Jets persevered here. Like to Drew's point, this was a pretty easy win for the Jets, right? Like at no point in this game did you really think it was in doubt. And they get the early lead and they kind of just ride it, right? And even when the Flyers made it 2-1,
yeah,
you kind of were thinking to yourself, okay, like the Flyers are in this game, and then the Jets score shortly after, and they regain their 2-goal lead, right? So just a very efficient game, a really good road effort. I thought Josh Morrissey was fantastic, but I mean, we expect him to be fantastic. He's a top 10 defenseman in the league. I really like Cole Koepke's game. I know Cole Koepke hasn't produced a lot of offense, but he's been out there on the penalty kill. Smart player. Like, let's be honest, we didn't know a lot about Cole Koepke prior to this year. Obviously, coming over from the Bruins organization, And, Tanner Pearson obviously gets another goal here. He's obviously not a guy that guys were expecting to be, in the top 6, but, here we are, and he's playing on that second line. But, we know that he's going to drop down to that fourth line. And, just before, we get more into the goals and stuff, I think there's something there with Niederreiter, Nemesnikov, and Nyquist, aka the triple N line. I really do think
line. It's not the triple N line. It's the 3N line.
Okay,
it's gotta be
3N.
that.
3N
you got
line.
3M. You got 3N. It's it's natural here.
We'll go 3N.
Yeah.
I thought that they were really good, and the first goal, the Nemesnikov goal that put the Jets up 1-0 in the first period, like that was just the type of goal that you expect a veteran line like that to score, right? Nemesnikov drives the net. Niederreiter drives the net, and Nemesnikov buries the rebound. I thought Nyquist did some good work along the wall before the goal was scored, so I thought that was impressive. And
are you skipping through the Play Now game recap before I've even had a chance to press the bumper?
No, I was just going through the forward lines. Look, I haven't been on the show in like 8 or 9 days. I'm excited.
Rusty.
Give the man the conch, for God's sakes. I mean, he hasn't had it in a while. I've had more than enough. I've had more than enough my time. So, Ezzy, you can have my allotment. I'm good.
We might have to send him down to the AHL for a conditioning stint. He's a little rusty.
Just hoping that NHL.com comes through here, because it's still not working. I thought it might be my internet connection.
It's funny actually you guys mentioned that, because I was trying to bring it up on my browser here, and then I was like, oh, it's really taking a while. What's going on here? And then clearly so many people want to watch that really high event game.
Who's going to text the commissioner?
There you go. Text Gary, see if he can get somebody
should
working on that.
Should we watch the Jays highlights instead?
Oh no, the Jays are still playing. I think it's 3-1 last time.
4-1.
5-1. Even there. Okay, the Jays are staying there. Looks like they want to send that.
I wouldn't know because I was focused on this, but
but it's 5-1.
A buddy texted me and said that the Jays are playing a smart game, so I was like, oh, I'm curious.
There you go.
C-Max comes through. 5-1.
Max Scherzer, brah.
There you go. There, the Jays bats have come alive after the first 2 quiet games.
Yesterday, I will say, even though this is not a Jays show, that was a crazy. I watched that game yesterday. That was insane. Like it was it was crazy. And the Vladdy home run was nuts, because I thought he actually made the catch, which was great, but it was a good game.
Well, certainly.
Did the Jays come back, guys? Do you believe?
Well, they're about to. It seems likely it's about to be a 2-all series.
Yeah. Unlike, did the Dodgers end up winning? I think they won, right? They were up big over Milwaukee. So
yeah, I believe that the Dodgers did win tonight.
So that's 3-0.
Yeah, the Brewers used up all their mojo on.
What is this?
On
Leafs
Saturday.
lunch, Jesse? What's going on here?
It was 3-1 Dodgers. Yeah, they're up 3-0 in that series. Yeah. In any event, why don't we get into the game?
Yeah,
recap?
We don't want Derek's about to leave the show. Let's get back to business.
Okay, here's business for tonight.
The Play Now game recap.
There you go. The Play Now game recap. It's brought to you by our friends at Play Now. We thank them for their continued support of the Illegal Curve post-game show. Sign up for Play Now and get a $20 lottery welcome bonus. Play Now is Manitoba's local, legal, and secure gambling site and the official betting partner of the Winnipeg Jets. Conditions apply. 18+. Enjoy responsibly. Big thanks to our friends at Play Now. As he mentioned that the Jets opened the scoring in tonight's game, 5:45 into the first period. The 3N line. It's Nyquist to Niederreiter to Nemesnikov to the back of the net. There's your 4th N. And it really starts with a smart play at the offensive blue line by Nyquist. He forces a turnover. He sends the puck down low. I mean, you look at Niederreiter here. He's behind both Flyers defensemen, just standing at the side of the net, and Nyquist gets the puck into him. Urson makes the first save there. Both defensemen who've lost Niederreiter both go after him, leaving Nemesnikov all alone. He jumps on the rebound, and he puts it past Urson to give the Jets the 1-0 lead. Defensive breakdown by the Flyers. Intelligence play by the Jets 3N line to force it to turn it into a turnover, and it's a 1-0 lead. A line that needed something good to happen. Nemesnikov gets his first of the season.
Yeah, I like how you called it an intelligence play, Drew, because when you look at these 3 players and how many combined NHL games these guys have, when you're talking about Nyquist, he's above 700. What's Niederreiter at this point? Probably above, I'm just guessing, what is he around? Probably 800. I mean, you're probably close to 2,000 games between these 3 guys, right? and it was a smart play. And you're right, it was
Ryder's at 973, so he'll get his
even more.
silver stick this year.
Yeah, I was low on that one, Drew. I said 800, so
Yeah.
he's much higher than that. But yeah, this is a very solid opening goal for the Jets, and they needed this because let's be honest, guys, the second line wasn't exactly, tearing it up tonight. And Johnny Taves obviously is not going to get the Lady Byng trophy after tonight's performance. But
he struggled tonight. I mean, this was that there's going to be, it's not going to be a linear path for Johnny Taves.
No.
But I thought he takes the 2 penalties, so that's never a positive. He doesn't look great on the Flyers 2-1 goal. He's in the trail position behind Owen Tippett, which we'll get to. This wasn't Taves' best of the 4 games since he's come back. I would say that.
No, I would agree. I would agree with that. And despite that, though, the Jets still played a pretty good game. But yeah, you're 4 games into his comeback.
Yeah.
And we talked about this during the preseason. Like, we're not going to obviously use this small sample size and pillory Jonathan Taves because it's way too early in the season. I want to wait 10 to 15 games before I give more of an assessment on Captain Sirius here. But I would agree with that. The second line I didn't think they weren't great. Let's just put it that way. It was really the first line and the third line and the fourth line that carried the Jets tonight. But yeah, this is to me just a great net drive by Niederreiter and Nemesnikov going to the net and burying the rebound. It was the Nick Seeler, Jamie Drysdale pair, Drew, as you said, that kind of just, they were scrambling in the offensive zone, let Niederreiter get behind them. And as I mentioned, Nemesnikov finishes it off. And that's why I said, I could see this line, having a little bit of longevity here, because obviously Perfetti is going to go back to that second line. And I'm sure you guys talked about it on the Saturday show. Like, I could easily see a line of Taves, Perfetti, Iafallo once Perfetti's back, and then Niederreiter, Nemesnikov, and Nyquist on the third line. Obviously, guys, when Adam Lowry comes back, that's going to change things. But what I'm saying is, for the next at least couple weeks, Dave, I really like the look of that line, and they came through and got a big goal, and that's what they needed. They took the crowd out of it, and they got the Jets on the board.
Well, I will say, I'm not sure the crowd was ever in it. And I mean, we love Philly crowds. We spent time in Philly back in 2014 at the draft there, as our boy Philly Dan.
I kept thinking about how crazy it is that was 11 years ago.
Oh, I know. It's wild. It's wild. It's almost as wild as Logan Stanley having more points than Nikolai Ehlers. I mean, who knew it? Who would have thunk it that was the case? But I think Nikolai Ehlers is still without a point in Carolina. So, although I did see something say, is he a bust? I'm like, guys, chill. It's 5 games into the season. But no, I mean, look, you knew that it was low event hockey was. I mean, what were shots after the first period, Drew?
Hang on, let me pull it up here.
5-3 or something.
No, I thought the Jets had a few more than that. Wasn't it 7? It was
5-3 for the Jets or 7-5 for the Jets or something.
Yeah, it was low. But the point is that it's just one of those games. Like, again, you're right, Ez. Like, that line, you needed something from them, and we know, like I said in the last game, to see Niederreiter get going and get his first. Like, hey, because we needed to see something more from him. And again, you're not hitting the panic button. It's early in the season, but you just wanted to see that the guys had a little something. Niederreiter showed in the last game, and now Nemesnikov gets going in this game. So, and just a smart play, a veteran hockey play, as you said, guys who know where to be and find that loose puck and get it home and build that lead.
Yeah, it was 1-0 for the Jets. After, hang on, I'm all out of sorts without my NHL.com. I got to be perfectly honest.
It's really throwing me off because I don't know what else to use.
I'm using ESPN.com, but it's not as good. 1-0 for the Jets after 20 minutes.
George is dead. Call me back.
That's right. Exactly right. The Flyers on the power play early in that second period. They had a couple of those power play opportunities. Dylan DeMello in the box for holding. After the Jets had that 2-on-1 opportunity. This is where I thought Connor Hellebuyck was at his best in the course of tonight's game. He made that point-blank save on Travis Konechny. It was still only a 1-0 game at this point in time. Mm-hmm. Konechny scores on this power play. Well, it's a 1-all game, and then all bets are off. Connor Hellebuyck coming up huge here. Tyson Forrester catching the crossbar just almost as the penalty ended.
Owen Tippett had a good scoring chance too there.
Owen Tippett had a good scoring chance. You're absolutely right. So Connor Hellebuyck didn't have to be tremendous, all game long by any stretch of the imagination, but he came up big when he needed to, particularly on the DeMello holding penalty when the Jets were shorthanded for the first time in tonight's game. After that penalty expires at the 7:01 mark of the second period, Mark Scheifele. It's his fourth of the season. It's the 2-0 goal. There's a turnover in the Flyers end. The puck hops away from Nikita Grabenkin. Velarde picks it up. He fires it across the ice to Scheifele. Scheifele has Sealer between him and Samuel Ersson. Sort of uses Sealer as a bit of a screen, but it's a wicked shot. And he beats Samuel Ersson with a short side. Picks his corner, picks his spot, hits it perfectly, and it's a 2-0 lead for the Winnipeg Jets. Hellebuyck did what he needed to do, then the Jets rewarded him with the 2-0 goal.
Yeah, I would say that this was the turning point in the game for me, Drew, as we talked about. The Jets penalty kill, even though the Flyers had a few chances, Hellebuyck stood tall, and I know that some people might look at this goal and say that it was a little bit of a weak goal, but it was a really good shot by Scheifele.
Damn good shot.
I don't necessarily think that was. Look, could Ersson have made the save? I mean, you'd want him to make the save in a. They're already down 1-0. Obviously, you go down 2-0 to the Jets the way they were playing. It was going to be tough to come back and win this game. But I mean, that was a really good shot. And we've talked about this so many times with Scheifele, right? Like, whether it's Scheifele or Connor, these guys like to distribute the puck, Dave, just as much as they like to shoot it. So I like to see Scheifele being really decisive there, and he's obviously got a great shot. So it was, that was a key goal at that stage in the game. He continues his red hot start to the season, and even though I think the Jets had, I think that was only their 7th or 8th shot of the game. Again, they're being opportunistic. I mean, this is. The Jets, to me, took what was in front of them tonight and played to the style of that game, right? And we've talked about this so many times. The Jets are able to kind of be chameleons and adapt their style a little bit. I'm not saying that they changed the way they like to play, but this was a slower, kind of low event type of road game. And, give Velarde credit. He makes a nice pass to Scheifele on that goal too. And, Scheifele does the rest. But certainly, in a game like this where there weren't a lot of high danger chances, Ersson's got to make that save to give his team a chance. But it's easier said than done. How many times has Scheifele beaten goalies clean like that, right, Dave?
Well, and he looked him off too, right? Like, so he Ersson definitely thought he was going to the other side. And
yep.
There's a reason why Mark Scheifele, as I put out there, is the second highest scorer from the 2011 draft class. A draft you were at in St. Paul, Minnesota. A much younger version of Ezzy Ginsburg was there.
Nobody's talking about Scheifele Couturier anymore, eh, boys?
It's funny. I did put that tweet out there, Ezzy, and I did laugh because I knew Garrett would pick up on and put something out. And I know that they're very different players, but it is just funny how folks were like, Couturier is better. And it's like, well, 265 more points for Scheifele. I think you're going to take the points of the production. Then
it ain't close.
Yeah. But don't get me wrong. I like Sean Couturier. He's a great player. But Scheifele, second leading guy, leading points. Who's in first from the draft class?
Oh, without looking, 2011.
You were there, Ez.
Is it Landeskog?
Nope.
No. That Landeskog was drafted already by then.
Yeah.
2011. Why am I forgetting?
So that was the Landeskog draft. Landeskog was the second overall pick in that draft.
Okay, you're right. It's a long time ago, Drew. It's 14 years ago.
No.
I'm going to say Nugent Hopkins.
Nope.
Kucherov.
Bingo.
Kucherov. Going deep.
Kucherov was a second rounder.
Yeah, but he's got the most. I think he's 3 points shy of 1,000 right now.
Yeah.
I couldn't remember if Kucherov was 2010 or 2011. Again, guys, this is just making me feel really, really old. That was 14 years ago. I mean, Drew, 14 years ago, we didn't have any kids.
That's
true.
Now
we've got, how many do we have now between us? 4?
4. The last time I counted, we have 4.
Drew, by the way, NHL.com is working in case you're panicking. Go back to NHL.com. It is working.
Okay, thank you for that. Thank you for that. Now that's breaking news we can use here on the Illegal Curve post-game show. We say good evening to everybody. Drew Mandel, Dave Minuk, Ezra Ginsburg talking about the Jets' 5-2 victory over the Philadelphia Flyers. If you haven't already done so, smash the like button, subscribe to the YouTube channel. We're going to do this again on Saturday morning, and then again on Saturday night after the Jets and the Nashville Predators. So we're looking forward to a double dip on Saturday of the hockey show and the post-game show. 2-0 for the Winnipeg Jets at this point in the second period. Jonathan Toews takes an O-zone holding penalty. The Jets kill off that penalty as well. And then they get an opportunity, odd man break for the Jets. They don't capitalize. The Flyers come back the other way with their own 2-on-1. Jonathan Toews in a chase position on Owen Tippett, sort of almost at his shoulder, but Tippett does a good job of keeping Toews just enough at bay, and he's got a good shot, and he fires it past Connor Hellebuck to give the Philadelphia Flyers to cut the lead from 2-0 to 2-1. This goal coming for Owen Tippett at the 16:22 mark of the second period.
And I do remember this because it was the last draft that I went to. Speaking of, we always like to talk about those drafts that we went to. 2017, Tippett was taken one spot before Gabe Vilardi. I don't have to look that up. I do remember that because Vilardi went to the Kings, of course, and then Tippett was taken 10th overall. And Tippett's kind of had a little bit of a, up and down career, I would say. He's had 20 goals, I think, 3 times now. But that was a good shot. And, I think, you don't want to analyze this one too much. It was a solid shot. It wasn't a breakdown or anything like that for the Jets. But, the Flyers didn't get a lot of chances. We talked about it. Really, most of their high danger chances came on the power play.
Yeah.
So, this is a nice goal by Tippett. But to me, it's all about the response by the Jets. That's what it's all about. And that response comes right after, obviously, Morgan Barron gets his goal. That is why this win was so impressive to me. Again, not a dominant win. Nobody's going to, if you looked at the score, you might say, oh yeah, the Jets dominated. It was 5-2. But I just thought that the Jets just stuck with it, and they didn't let the Flyers ever really get into this game. And I think that was exemplified really well by the Jets coming back and putting themselves back up 2 goals on the Barron goal.
Well, you talk about the Barron goal, and that comes a minute and 21 seconds after the Flyers had cut it from 2-0 to 2-1. It's Morgan Barron, his third of the year, assist to Kyle Connor's third assist on this one. And it comes just on a shift where the Jets have the Flyers hemmed into their own zone. So much so that they're able to get a partial line change in. So Philadelphia is scrambling around. You can see them lose their structure very badly on this one, Dave. And, he's not on the score sheet on this goal, but you love Parker Ford on this goal. Because what does he do? He drives to the heart of the net. He takes away the Flyers defender. The puck does go in. It's Barron's shot, but it goes in off of Noah Cates. Pardon me, he's not the Flyers defender, mind you, but he's the guy who's got Parker Ford, who's trying to tie up Parker Ford in front of the net. And, that's just the Jets outworking, out hustling, out efforting, and getting into position better than the Flyers were able to defend it to give the Jets the 3-1 lead. And it's very demoralizing for a Flyers team that has been, had to work so hard just to cut the lead from 2-0 to 2-1 that it takes the Jets all of about 80 seconds to get the lead back, regain the 2-goal lead. And really, I thought at this point in time, after that goal, that was the end of tonight's contest in terms of competitiveness.
I really don't think Drew was trying to be funny there by saying Parker Ford drives to the net. But Joe obviously likes that comment. But look, Dave, before you get in here, Drew really nailed it here. This is just a hardworking goal. Parker Ford drives the net. Morgan Barron was really on tonight. I thought he's been fantastic through 4 games. He really has. And he's taken advantage of the opportunity that's in front of him with Lowry out of the lineup. So I just wanted to mention that.
No, and what I was going to say is this obviously is a bit of a the lines aren't complete because obviously Kyle Connor was on it, and for the record, I didn't notice it, and usually I'm a little disappointed in myself, boys, because I usually notice this sort of minutia. But Kyle Connor, up to 300 assists in his career, so not too shabby. That was last game against the Islanders. He got picked up an assist and got up to the 300 mark. So his 301st assist was this pass. It was over to Morgan Barron, and Morgan Barron's just, again, it seems to be feeling it, right? It's just a function of him getting that puck on the net, and like Drew said, Parker Ford doing his job to tie up his man, and there was some confusion. Barron's like, did Ford get it? Ford's like, did Barron get it? But ultimately, obviously, it was Morgan Barron's goal, his third, and just well deserved for a line that just continues to grind. And whether it's obviously Tanner Pearson was on the line. They moved him up. I mean, we didn't really talk about, that's probably one of the things we didn't talk about to start in our little preamble. We didn't mention, of course, the fact that the Jets healthy scratch Nikita Chibrikov, flopped Tanner Pearson into the second line winger role, and then put Parker Ford in for his first game of the year. But I thought he looked like a guy, Ezzy, who was like amped up and ready to play, and he was noticeable, and he did the things that, is kind of required of a guy who's going to be an energy guy for this team.
I don't think Ford's coming out, guys. Like, I realize that Chibrikov has a bright future, and I know you guys were talking to Kenny about Chibrikov on Saturday's show. He's still 22 years old, right? Like, and I think the way Parker Ford has been playing, not just, tonight or the regular season thus far, but in the preseason, we know that he was very solid. So I think for the time being, I think Parker Ford's sticking on that fourth line.
Yeah, I mean, based on tonight's results, no question about it. He was noticeable for all the right reasons, and this is a good problem for the Winnipeg Jets to have. Play your way into the lineup. If you're not going to do it, you're going to be sitting. The Jets, have this flexibility, and it's not bad for Nikita Chibrikov to maybe, I agree, he hasn't been the impactful pest that I think he has to be at his most effective. So this might be an opportunity for him just to recalibrate a little bit. You don't need to force a guy. You don't need to force him if he's not going, at peak performance. You have other options available to you. The Jets were able to use Parker Ford tonight, and I thought he was very effective. That entire Jets fourth line tonight was very, very good. They were just, you know exactly what you're going to get from them for the most part. 63% was their possession numbers. It wasn't flashy by any stretch of the imagination, but it was effective and, useful. And And I mean, in the third period in particular, which I'll highlight in a moment here, they just had the Flyers, they could do whatever they wanted against the Flyers on the forecheck.
Well, and the only thing I was going to add, boys, was just that for my money, the idea that the Jets have responded quickly in 2 straight games to giving up a goal and then scoring one themselves has been very impressive, because they're not, as you said, Drew, they're just kind of stepping on the Flyers' neck there. The Flyers are not the same team as the Winnipeg Jets, and the Jets aren't going to give them that opportunity to get into this game. So what do? They put an end to it quickly by scoring as quickly as they did in order to make it a 3-1 game.
And it makes 4-1 in the third period. So before... this is a power play goal. Mark Scheifele, his 5th assist to Kyle Connor and Alex Iafallo. And even before this goal, I mean, the Jets have a great shift by their third line. Right about that the fourth line. Right about that 3.5 minute mark of the third period. It's just a cycle. Jets get a line change in where you can see that Philadelphia's got nothing. They're sitting there like they're running up against a brick wall over and over and over again, where the Jets were just, had their way with how they wanted the game to go. In this instance, it's a power play goal for the Winnipeg Jets. Trevor Zegras takes an interference penalty, and the Jets are moving the puck all around the zone. They're moving players. They're not stagnant. You see Morrissey just feather the pass through to Connor to Iafallo, and then the seam pass from Connor to Scheifele. I mean, Scheifele is so wide open, and that seam pass was, seam passes are usually pretty difficult to complete because you try to prevent them. Well, the Flyers had no structure whatsoever on this one. Connor with it's a nice pass, but it was not one of his most, it was not the highest of high level passes. It's not like you have to get it through a smallest of a window. He had a pretty good garage door to pass it through, and he finds Scheifele, one-timer in the back of the net. Urson, no chance. Flyers done like dinner. 4-1 for the Winnipeg Jets at this point. Scheifele, his 5th already of the season, 8 points in less than 4 complete games at this point, but it ends up his 8th point in 4 games so far this season.
Team Canada brass, are you watching? This guy needs to be on Team Canada. Scheif needs to be on Team Canada. He is playing so well so early on. And again, what else do you expect? I mean, he's been so consistent for so many years. Like Dave put out there on X, I mean, it seems like automatic sometimes. We've seen it so many times, Connor to Scheifele or Scheifele to Connor. And that's a big goal, right, guys? Because the power play, it hasn't been spectacular to start the season. And don't get me wrong, it's a small sample size. It was only 3 games, obviously, heading into tonight's 4th game. But the penalty kill was excellent, and that's what you want to see. And it goes back to kind of what we talked about during the preseason. That was before Cole Perfetti went out with the injury. We talked about the Jets were going to have to rely on their defensive structure. They were going to have to rely on their special teams. And that's what they've been doing. I mean, you hold a team to, what did we end up saying? It was 3 or 4 shots for the Flyers in the first period. You hold a team to 3 or 4 shots.
It was 3
at home. Yeah, I mean, like that's not easy to do. And yes, the Flyers are not.
The Flyers had fewer shots in the third period. They only had 2 in the third period.
Right. So I mean, like you could say, well, yeah, the Flyers aren't very good, but I mean, they've still got a lot of talent. Like I don't care what anybody says, whether it's a Travis Konechny, whether it's a Sean Couturier, whether it's a Matt Michkov, who was a runner-up for the Calder Trophy last year.
Trevor Zegras.
Jet Luchenko, he's a good young player. Bobby Brink, he had a breakout season last year. Like they've still look. Any team in the NHL has talent. It's just the question is how is it dispersed throughout the lineup, and are you too loaded in one area? And obviously the Flyers' strength is their forward group. It's on defense and in goal where they're not very strong. Like the combination of Dan Vladar and Samuel Urson, that's not scaring anybody in the Eastern Conference. And that's why most people didn't pick the Flyers to make the playoffs, Dave. But certainly Scheifele and Connor have picked up exactly where they left off last year.
Yeah, I mean, it is, as I said, and I know what Drew's saying, but that they're just automatic. When 81-55 get on the power play like that, and again, it's twofold. You credit the Jets for creating the space, but you also have to wonder what the Flyers were thinking, allowing that sort of that lane to be exposed in order for them to be able to make that pass. But ultimately, it is there, and you cannot give a guy like Kyle Connor, who's we always talk and we always laud his ability to score. And as anybody who listens to the show, often we're almost equally effusive in our praise of his ability to make a pass. So he is absolutely, lights out and makes it over to Scheifele. And there was, I mean, it's funny how many people watching this game. I mean, it really is a testament to being someone who watches the Jets all the time. Did you not see this setup and think before Scheifele even scored that was a goal?
Yeah.
Like, honestly, like I was watching it, I'm like, well, that's going to be in the back of the net. And then sure enough, it was in the back of the net.
Yeah.
No, again, there have been instances where I thought that and it doesn't happen. But in that one, I was fairly confident as I was watching that's going to end up in the back of the net because we've seen it so many times. So a real nice play, a real smart play by Kyle Connor. No surprise there. Now 301 or 302 assists, I should say, for him because I think he had 2 in tonight's game. But I mean, just and like as he says, I mean, for Mark Scheifele to have 5 goals in his first 4 games of the season and looking really good. And one of the things, I mean, we've already touched on it in this game recap, right? As the penalty kill and not having Lowry and Sandberg. But one thing I've already mentioned, I don't remember if it was on Saturday's show with you, Drew, or if it was one of the post-game shows, but I really like having Scheifele and Connor to end the PK. Sure. I think that's been a real good assist for them. And you
have to think, obviously, Dave, part of that is because Lowry's out. Like, I don't know if Scheifele stays on the PK when Lowry comes back, again, but especially late. If there's a situation where there's a late face-off with only, let's say, 10 or 20 seconds left in the penalty kill, I agree with you. It's beneficial to have those guys out there late in a PK so that they can transition the puck up the ice at the end of the
right.
kill.
I mean, they're never going to be the first duo that's out there for the PK or even the second one, but they're, as he said, they're going to be the guys who are out there late so they can transition quick. But hey, maybe that should be Morgan Barron given how good he is shorthanded. But I just think it's worth mentioning just that the penalty kill has been 4 games in, and again, you're not playing against teams that have the most lethal power plays, but very impressive.
Kills or kills.
And so, look, we saw it last year when the Jets gave up a lot of power play goals early. It was hard, even though their PK improved throughout the year, to ever really overcome the deficit it was created early in the season. Now, having kind of already been very effective, that's not necessarily a bad thing, obviously.
Flyers cut it to 4-2. Matvei Michkov gets his, I think it was the first of the year, assist to Noel Juleson and Sean Couturier. Bit of a breakdown by the Jets and letting them, walk in the way they did with about 2 minutes to go. Don't love some of the decision making here, but the Jets quickly snuff out any hope of a comeback. It's with an empty net goal by Tanner Pearson, and it's our Wheatland Hockey heads up high intelligence hockey play of the game. Pearson into the empty net, but you saw he got to center ice before he shot it into the empty net. He knew where he was on the ice surface. He knew where he had to be so that it would be, even if he missed, a negligible impact on his team. Nothing negative was going to happen here. So it is Tanner Pearson, his goal into the empty net, and his effort to get to center ice is our Wheatland Hockey heads up hockey play of the game. Wheatland Hockey Club is a proud sponsor of the Illegal Curve post-game show, building skills, character, and excellence on and off the ice. A fresh approach to youth hockey and development, proudly serving Winnipeg, Manitoba, and the surrounding areas. Check them out online, wheatlandhockey.ca.
Chef's kiss to that logo, and the logo, the team, the Wheatland Hockey team has the old River Heights Cardinals logo. Mm-hmm. Oh, just beautiful. Love it.
There you go. As he's giving out chef's kisses left, right, and center here on.
I'm just not boiling any water right now, boys. I give out the chef's kisses. You know what? I think I'm actually just going to stick to eating. There's a reason why I don't cook very often.
Yeah, don't cook. It's not going to do you any good.
I like to cook on the Illegal Curve Hockey Show with my takes, but
cook with your hot takes. Don't cook with boiling water, as we've evidence is that it's not going to turn out well for you in that case. When we come back, more on the Jets and the Flyers. We'll talk about Saturday's Illegal Curve Hockey Show. See if there's any interesting quotes coming from the Winnipeg Jets dressing room after the conclusion of tonight's 5-2 Winnipeg Jets victory over the Philadelphia Flyers. Dave Minuke's in the top right, Ezra Ginsburg's in the bottom middle. I'm your host, Drew Mandel. Don't go anywhere. Much more of the Illegal Curve Hockey Show, the Illegal Curve post-game show to be exact, still to come.
We want to thank you for not betting with Play Now and choosing our illegal gambling sites instead.
Because we couldn't afford things like this without your money.
So much of your money.
Now you might have questions like,
do our profits benefit your community?
No.
Or bet with Play Now, Manitoba's local legal and secure gambling site.
Dining, entertainment, parking, and convenience, all in one spot. City Place is located in the heart of downtown Winnipeg, attached to the Canada Life Centre. Whether you're working, living, or out for a night in the downtown, make City Place your go-to destination before or after the fun finds you. Lunchtime, game time, anytime, visit City Place at 333 St. Mary Avenue, next to Canada Life Centre. Holt Dental, the new official dentist of Illegal Curve, has a philosophy rooted in two unyielding principles: genuinely caring about patients and providing outstanding service. Being a patient of Holt Dental means more than just checkups and treatments. It's taking the time to listen and talk to each patient so they can achieve the best long-term health, functionality, and aesthetics for their teeth, mouth, and gums. Conveniently located at Grant Park Festival on Taylor Avenue, Holt Dental is dentistry of the highest quality in a comfortable and relaxed environment. For more information, visit holtdental.ca. Oh, and there's plenty of free parking at the front door, too. Celebrating its 40th year as Winnipeg's home for stand-up comedy, Rumors Restaurant and Comedy Club has recently been named Canada's top comedy club and a top 5 comedy club in North America. From birthday parties to date nights to fundraisers and everything in between, Rumors is your destination for the best and most affordable live entertainment Winnipeg has to offer. For more information on upcoming shows, Rumors' incredible promotions, and to purchase tickets, visit rumorscomedyclub.com.
At Boston Pizza, a fast lunch doesn't have to mean fast food. Now you can get a $15 lunch served in just 20 minutes, including your choice of a main, side, and drink. That's right, lunch for $15 at your local Boston Pizza.
Bottom of the hour, almost 10 o'clock in the evening. It's 9:30, so I guess it's just as much almost 9 o'clock.
I was going to say, what clock are you looking at, Drew? It's only 9:30. The night's young.
Well, it might be young for you. I'm not sure if you're going out to the clubbing later on or not, but
I was trying to look at the clock as on NHL.com, but it wasn't working.
That's right.
I'm actually going to the Palladium after this, boys.
Enjoy that.
Or tonight would be a Pemby night.
Okay, well,
Pemby or Nemby?
Neither place exists, so you're fine.
I like, by the way, that they, this is a complete non sequitur here, but I like the fact that
isn't that the name of our show?
Yeah, exactly. I like the fact that they're calling that multifamily development. They're still keeping the Pemby name.
Yeah, multifamily development. Look at you using real estate lingo.
Somebody used to work in commercial real estate.
I was going to say multifamily.
Look at the big brain on Brad.
Yeah. What do you call it? I call it a car hole. What do you call it? A garage. A garage.
A car hole.
In any event, Jets 5-2 victors over the Philadelphia Flyers tonight. The Jets head home to face the Nashville Predators Saturday night, another divisional matchup. They lost the first of the divisional matchups to the Dallas Stars on the season opener, but now a 3-1 record for the Winnipeg Jets. So I would say that off to a decent start, of course, here at the 25-26 season. A good effort all around for the Jets tonight. A workmanlike effort, but a successful victory. Lots for the team to like about this road trip. Eric Comrie gets his first win. The Jets get their win in Philadelphia. Just, again, exactly sort of what you wanted to see from the Winnipeg Jets as they took a bit of a step down against the competition they were facing.
Right. Yeah, and sorry, Dave, just before you get in here, I was going to say, it hasn't been perfect. It's not like the Jets are 3-1 and all of a sudden we're ordering the rings and planning the parade at Portage and Maine here, boys.
Right.
There's still things the Jets can work on. Obviously, the second line, is still a work in progress. We talked about that. And look, the second line is going to continue to be a work in progress when Cole Perfetti comes back in the lineup, right, Dave?
Right.
So they're still trying to find, a little bit more offense, but the top line of Scheifele, Connor, and Velarde has obviously picked up the slack. You've been getting, some balanced scoring. You've been getting contributions from guys like Niederreiter and Nemesnikov and Tanner Pearson, right? And obviously, the defense I thought looked a lot better. I'll be honest, I didn't watch a ton of the Islanders game, but I thought Hayden Fleury looked a lot good out there. We haven't even talked about Logan Stanley. I thought he quietly had a pretty solid game. We already mentioned that he's beating Nick Ehlers in the goal scoring race right now, right? It's a pretty, when you consider, boys, all of the injuries, and there's been, the Jets don't have necessarily as many injuries as the Florida Panthers. I'm not sure if you saw. Now Kulikov is out of the lineup, joining Barkov and Kachuk, right? So obviously the Panthers have a little bit worse than the Jets, but when you're talking about Sandberg, Perfetti, and Lowry, I think a lot of Jets fans were getting pretty nervous. Thinking, the Jets might start the season off, 1-3 or something like that. So to come back to Winnipeg for Saturday's game against Nashville with a 3-1 record, I think all things considered is pretty damn good.
I would agree with that assessment. We're looking forward to cover Saturday's game starting at 9 a.m. with the Illegal Curve Hockey Show live here on our YouTube channel. And then we'll wrap up the game after the game, probably around 8:30, 8:45 with the Illegal Curve post-game show. All that coming your way on what will be a very busy Saturday for us here at Illegal Curve. It's always a very busy insert day of the week on illegalcurve.com. That's where Dave M will have all the latest on the Winnipeg Jets, their victory tonight against the Philadelphia Flyers, any Moose news that there may exist, as well as he will always do his prospects roundup to see what's happening with insert random 2023 sixth round pick playing it for the Western Michigan Broncos or something like that. Only Dave M covers it, and that's why we love him the way we do.
I appreciate that. Thank you, Drew. I mean, I want to make sure everybody knows to check out our extended Manuk Moose Minutes series that we had a chance to catch up with some of the players. We've released my chat with Elias Salamonson and Tyrell Bauer. I'm a little disappointed as
Put
he
on
must
your
have missed
antlers. It's time for the Manuk Moose Minutes on the Illegal Curve Hockey Show.
You cut off the best. You just yada yada over the best part, as I was going to say. And Tyrell Bauer gave a shout out on the video to the Illegal Curve sandwich. So
yeah.
I mean, I thought Ez would like that, and we've
Ty's
got
a beauty, an absolute beauty, one of our favorites for sure.
Absolutely, and so we've got 3 more of those to come out. We're going to have Samuel Fogamos coming out. He's of course was an LA Kings draft pick, and Jets seem to collect those. And so they've got, we will have a sit down chat with him. The Jets are traveling tomorrow, so there won't really be any fresh content. We know the Jets sent down Cale Clegg, so he was returned to the Moose today on loan with the news that, as he said, Hayden Fleury was back and feeling good, as was Cole Koepke. So the Jets have returned that player to the Moose, and the Moose are going to be in Grand Rapids, where they're playing a couple of games in against the Griffins, right, boys, to start their first road trip of the season. Actually, it's weird. They're playing a 6-game road trip, but they're playing 2 games in Grand Rapids, and they're flying back to Winnipeg. Then they'll stay in Winnipeg, and then they're flying back to Grand Rapids to start the remaining 4 games, because then they play in Grand Rapids and Chicago. So,
but the question is, Dave, are you going to be on the Griffins Pipeline podcast, though? That's what I want to know.
I was already on the Griffins Pipeline podcast yesterday, Ezzy.
He's committed adultery.
Yes. Is that... podcast adultery. Very nice, Drew. So I was on that with
Matthew
those guys.
Berry's. I can't steal it. It's Matthew Berry came up with it.
Okay. I did not know that. But anyways, yes, I did join those guys for a little chit chat about the AHL, a little extended Manuk Moose Minute, because my chats with the guys were about 10 minutes. That one ran about 20, 25 minutes. So anyways, lots of stuff. We'll have it all covered, of course, and all the prospects, including I think it was Jacob Cloutier, as the 6th rounder from 2025, scored yesterday for Saginaw, Cole Perfetti's old team, and the assist, Danny Zhilkin's younger brother, he set him up. So he got his second of the year. But of course, as Drew says, we'll have those in the notes on the morning paper. So make sure you check those out whenever you get a chance. Every morning, illegalcurve.com, posted at 7 a.m. with all the latest news.
And that's Dima Zhilkin you're talking about. Danny Zhilkin's younger brother, Dima.
Yes. Yeah.
I think it's pronounced Dima.
Seems about right. Your pronunciation is just as good a guess as mine. Drew, you should mention on Saturday, it's the child advocacy game in conjunction with the Toba Center for Saturday night's game, and we have a story on illegalcurve.com, a little teaser here coming out tomorrow about the game and about a donation made in the name of Scott Campbell by his mom, who is going to be in town for this game. She made a donation to the Toba Center. That's a little teaser for folks, and you can read all about it tomorrow on illegalcurve.com, and she's going to be at the game featured Saturday night. So it's exciting. It's a great cause, a really great institution here in Manitoba that does great work with young kids. So we'll have more on it, and Diane and Scott coming to your way on illegalcurve.com tomorrow.
There you go. You can look forward to that. It might be a travel day for the Jets, but plenty of good content coming on illegalcurve.com. That'll do it for us here on the Illegal Curve post-game show. Jets victorious 5-2 over the Philadelphia Flyers. Big thanks to all the sponsors of Illegal Curve who make the post-game show, the Saturday show, and the website a possibility. That's our friends at Rumors Restaurant and Comedy Club, Play Now, Holt Dental, City Place, Wheatland Hockey, and of course, our friends at Boston Pizza. Support these fine businesses because of their continued support of Illegal Curve Hockey. Thanks all for joining us. If you haven't already done so, smash the like button, subscribe to the podcast, subscribe to the YouTube channel, turn your notifications on. The best place to be every Saturday morning, and again, after each and every Winnipeg Jets game, is the Illegal Curve YouTube channel. Jets win 5-2 over the Philadelphia Flyers. More to come on illegalcurve.com. For Dave Manuk, for Ezra Ginsburg, I am your host, Drew Mandel. Thanks, everyone, for joining us. We wish you good night and good luck, and thanks for watching the Illegal Curve post-game show.